Welcome to Unstoppable Real Estate Investing Wealth. My name is Billy Alvaro, aka the Unstoppable BA, former billion-dollar mortgage banker, gone bankrupt, turned professional real estate investor. Where each week you'll learn the tools, strategies, systems, and secrets myself and other highly successful real estate investing entrepreneurs use to start, grow, and scale their businesses, creating massive profits, and how you can too. And we'll teach you how to put those profits to work so you no longer have to. Get ready to finally experience financial freedom and generational wealth. Now let's get started.
What's up? It's Billy Alvaro, the Unstoppable BA, and you are listening to Unstoppable REI Wealth. I'm so happy that you're here to join me. Back on another, I'm doing a solo three-part series, creative as fuck. First one, we're talking about deals, how to get more deals done in an environment where it's really tough to make deals happen right now. Like if you're out there and you're trying to market and go after deals, you'll probably know, like I know, it's extremely competitive. There's a very small pool of sellers that are out there, and there's a bunch of sharks that are going after the same people. Don't want to name myself as a shark, but like you get the idea. Like there's chum in the water and there's a bunch of people trying to go after and eat it. And it's tough. It's a tough environment. And so the purpose of this three-part series is to get you to think a little bit differently and to give you some of the tools and resources and strategies that we're using to really do deals when other people are not able to get the deals done. So we're winning a lot of deals. And in the first part of this three-part series, I told you I just got back from Puerto Rico. I was away for a month, 30 days, and I still worked. I worked a few hours each week, maybe like a handful, 5 hours a week, just to stay in touch, keep my finger on the pulse of what was going on in the office, had a few phone conversations and 1 or 2 Zoom meetings. So it wasn't 100% disconnected, but I was still disconnected enough. And so speaking with people, how did you do 17 deals? And, how'd you do this? And how were you able to run the business without being there? And I went over all that in different podcasts, the marketing processes that we do and how I'm able to run the company virtually and not really be there. I'm still looking for a COO. So if you're out there and you're an implementer, execute a COO, we should definitely talk because I need that person in order to help facilitate and scale the growth of the company even further, the fix and flip company and wholesale company for where it is. But, it got me thinking, how are we able to take down 17 deals in a month? And now the Northeast, I know it's competitive everywhere. The Northeast is extremely competitive, especially Long Island. It's a small, narrow slither of fucking dirt. And there's a ton of people going after a very small pool of sellers. And so, I'd say 3 times a month, we have properties that we're in contract to buy, and we have other buyers coming in trying to convince the sellers to kill our deal. And we can sue the shit out of them. And, for tortious interference, I don't want to go down that road, but if push comes to shove, we may have to. My point is it's getting tough out there. So how do you separate yourself? How do you go about getting more deals in an environment where it's a shrinking pool? You need to get really, really creative. You need to think outside the box. And I know it's an overused statement, but you really need to start thinking differently. And the only way to think differently is to get information. So like when you're interviewing your potential sellers, or your sales team is interviewing, or your lead managers, or your acquisition managers, however your company's structured, it's important that you go through and, along with know, like, and trust and build rapport, the people who are going to make the most deals are going to be the ones that solve the biggest problems. You've heard this in the past, but what does that mean? It means that you really need to start acting like a fucking private eye, a detective, and going in deep with your questioning. Uncover the situations. People generally hold their shit tight to their chest. They're not going to want to tell you what's really going on. Like sometimes they're just going to, they're going to explode. They can have diarrhea of the mouth. Other times they're going to keep their cards close to the vest. And so your job, your team's job, is to start extracting that information with just really good questions. And so just think, in the world of questioning, it's who, what, where, when, how, and why. And if you start going down the road of asking questions to somebody, when they answer it, think about those 6 who, what, where, how, when, and why, and start thinking of the next set of questions that's going to peel back that onion to start going deeper into the problem. So in the first podcast that we spoke about, it was called the super duper shit deal scooper. And it's the diamonds in the duty, right? Where other people think it's a shit deal, our company was able to sift through and realize there was actual diamonds in this deal, where we took a deal that could have been otherwise people would have seemingly thought it was dead or gave up on it because it looked like it was too much work. We turned around and made it into a $165,000 profit deal. Now, the deal didn't sell yet. We're in the process of renovating. I'll do a case study on it. But that was in Creative as Fuck podcast number 1. So in the second part series today, this one is called Till Death Do Us Part. It sounds a little morbid, but I'm going to get into what this actually means and how creative you can get. So we've, over the last year and a half, 2 years, about a year and a half, 2 years, we've been coming across a lot of older people who want to sell their home, and they want to sell, but we all know what's happening. If they sell, where are they going to go? They have no money. They don't have enough money to go buy another property, because if they're selling at a good number, they still have to buy at a good number. They're not buying like us where they're going to fix it up. They have to buy retail. And so most of them that we've been coming in contact with, they're like, they want to sell. We get them to the number that we agree upon. And then they kind of get cold feet. Like, I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know how I'm going to, survive at my next house. I won't be able to pay the taxes. I won't be able to pay the mortgage. I can't afford to buy the house for cash. There's not enough equity in the house that I'm selling. And so we started thinking, how could we get creative with sellers that want to sell, some may need to sell, and take care of them at the same time, where they're still going to have a roof over their head and they're going to be able to live and not have to worry about how they're going to live and survive, and not only just pay the mortgage, but maybe even put food on the table. And so 2 years ago, we had an older lady out in the Hamptons that called us. And I'm going to talk about this deal, and then I'm going to talk about the most recent one. And we have 2 others in the pipeline. So it's going to be a total of 4. So the one in the Hamptons gave us a call, and we all know the East Hampton, by the way. I mean, great area. Her house was a little jammed up. She wasn't a hoarder, but the house was definitely in rough condition. She was behind on property taxes. And so we came up with a number that was fair for her and fair for us based on the condition of the property. And she accepted verbally. And then once she started going through with the attorney, she realized, I can't go through with this. I'm not going to have enough money to survive. And really, I really want to stay in the house. So I actually got involved with this particular call. The sales agent got me involved because they knew I owned a mortgage company. And I consulted with her, and I said, look, if you were my grandmother, what I would say to you is this: get yourself a reverse mortgage. Stay in your property. You don't need to sell your house to us or to anybody else. You're not going to qualify for a regular mortgage because you don't make enough money to make the mortgage payment. You're old enough to qualify for a reverse. You have enough equity in your house. The house does need work. So why don't you contact the reverse mortgage company? I gave her 2 or maybe even 3 telephone numbers of mortgage brokers and bankers to call. And so she called. She went down that road. She was very appreciative that we even offered that to her, because I'm like, look, I'd rather have you, walk away happy and know that I helped you and pointed in the right direction than just to do a transaction and buy your deal. It's not a good fit. Let me help you. That's the benefit. You always want to give them help and guidance. And I'm glad we did this, because she came back. And I'll explain what happened. So with that deal, she went to the mortgage companies. She went to the mortgage banks. And because she was so far behind on her property taxes, they considered it a foreclosure bailout. And there's certain guidelines. I don't know what they are today. I've been out of the mortgage banking business for years, but there were certain guidelines with all the lenders, that she couldn't get enough money out to get the cash out she was looking for, have the reverse payments come to her, like the reverse mortgage, give her what she needed to pay off her property taxes and to get the property fixed up. There just wasn't enough in it. So she ended up coming back to us 3 months later. 3 months later, and 2 months before the county was going to actually take back the deed. And she's like, look, I don't know what else to do, and I have no other option. I'm going to have to sell the house, and I just don't know where the hell I'm going to live. And so, coming from a place of wanting to help first, people first, money second, you have to have that thought process. How could we help this lady and get her what she wants and needs, at the same time make it a win for us as well? When we tried the FHA reverse, it didn't work. I can't just buy the property and have this lady live on the street or not know, where the hell she's going to live. So what we did is we got creative. I went through my process. I went through of what can we do? I asked, or the team asked the questions, the who, the what, the where, why, and how. We knew the whole situation. We knew who she was. She was the only person on the deed. She was single. She had no family. She had no kids. She had no living relatives. Her husband passed. She's in the property. She's been there for years. We know she wanted to stay. We know she needed money to pay taxes. We know she needed money to fix up the property. So what do you do in a situation like that? So we looked at this and we said, why don't we think like the bank? And instead of doing a reverse mortgage for her, why don't we actually give her the cash out, save the property from the back taxes, give her the money out to fix up whatever she needed, actually just to take the money that she wanted for her own personal savings. And then we went in and fixed up part of the property because I think it was the roof was bad and the downstairs was something wrong. And so how we structured it is we went in and we said, ma'am, I think she's 78 or 80 years old. I can't remember the exact details of her age. If she lives to be 90, 95, that means we're going to have this house if she's 80 for 15 years. And I said to her, here's what I'm willing to do. If you allow us to buy this property at a certain number, I'll guarantee you the taxes be paid off. I'll guarantee you that you're going to get the cash out that you were looking for. I will pay, because I knew she couldn't afford the taxes and the insurance. And I calculated this in and I performed it out to figure out if this was going to be a deal or not. So that's the first thing. You have to make sure that you're helping and it's going to be a win for you as well. So we spreadsheeted this whole thing out. And the bottom line, we did this in such a way where we were able to give her everything, and we did it as a life estate. So this lady could put her head on the pillow at night knowing, and we papered this whole thing to ensure that issues and judgments and all this other crap, if anything comes up, it's not going to attach to the property, because we just put layers, but we did it as a life estate, protected us, protected her. She's able to know that until the day she dies or until the day she goes into a nursing home, that house is never going to be sold. We're taking care of it all. Now, a lot of people wouldn't have thought of that. A lot of people wouldn't even think, if they thought of it, they wouldn't even do it. But it's a win for us because we have a property that we got at such an attractive number today. We all know the Hamptons, East Hampton especially. This property over 10 years or 15 years is going to go considerably up. Now, we're not on the hook to give her a monthly payment. We're just on the hook to pay the taxes. Taxes in the Hamptons with the insurance, I think it's like $7,000 a year. It's relatively inexpensive. So when we're all said and done with this property, I think we're going to be in like $300 and something thousand over 15 years. If God willing, she lives that long. If she passes sooner, we'll be into it for a lot less. So the point, we found out the situation. We gave him a place of goodness. We tried to help her and put her into a different direction with a reverse mortgage. We tried to solve her problems as best we possibly could. Nothing worked. So we didn't sit back and say it's a dead deal. Nobody can help you. Well, we're going to buy your property and put you on the street. By the way, it came down to it. She's like, I'm not, if I have to move, I can't do it. That's what it got down to us saying, you know what? This lady, if we buy it, we can't put her on the street. She's not going to want to move anyway. So how could we make this a win-win? And I got to tell you, man, asking really good questions, getting creative, who, what, where, when, how, why, asking those questions, the rapport, getting them to know, like, and trust, and then figuring out. And here's the key when you're getting creative. If you've never done something before, you have to look at different situations, different companies, different businesses that you can maybe take from what they're doing. So I took a reverse mortgage concept from the mortgage industry. I brought it into us, and I married that with a life estate. And I said, you know what? We can give her the same benefits of a reverse, keep her in the property until she dies, and then it doesn't go to her heirs. It goes to us. We have this whole thing written out. It's a win for her and a win for us. So look, the bottom line, guys, if you want to do deals in this environment, you can't just come out with a cash offer. You have to get creative. And so I'm trying to teach you guys, trying to impart some of the knowledge. I don't have every answer. I have not done every single creative deal out there, but when we have a situation that presents itself, I put my thinking cap. I don't get involved in the day-to-day of the business and every single deal. What the guys and girls inside my business are trained, when they have a situation and they don't know how to solve it, that's when my brain power comes in. That's where I'm spending my 5 to 10 hours a week on solving problems for my business, so my business team members can go out and solve problems for the people in the community. And that's where we're at right now. We're at the scale process. So look, this whole creative as fuck is till death do us part. Literally, we're together. It's a marriage with her and I. We're together. We're in this until death do us part, until we finally, one of us, hopefully not me, but until she passes, and then we get the property. And then from there, we'll be able to go in and renovate. Now, some people might be saying, how do you know where the market's going to be in 10 years or 15 years? Look, if you buy right, if you get it at a good enough number and you're solving their problem, I charted this thing out 6 different ways. It's a win-win-win across the board for us, and it's a win-win-win across the board for her. We solved the major problem. Biggest thing is we got another deal done where other people couldn't get. Now, let me spin over to a similar situation, except the way we constructed it was completely different, right? Because what I didn't like on that one deal that I just mentioned is that I came up with a lot of cash up front, right? Here was the downfall. I laid out $300,000 or two, whatever it was, up front. And then they have taxes and insurance each year. So another deal presented itself. And I'm like, all right, learn from the last one. What did we do right? What could we do different? How could we solve the problem? So this other deal that came in, husband and wife, great area in Nassau County, like killer area. And similar. They have a house. They have a ton of cats in the house. They don't want to leave. They don't want to sell. They want to remain there with they want their cats, I should say, to remain in the house with them until they pass. And they don't want to lose their property. They don't want to sell the property. So their reasoning was the cats, right? So out of everything, it wasn't money. It was the cats. It was, I want to keep my house for the cats, but I can't afford to keep the house the way it's going. They couldn't get a reverse mortgage, went down that road because the house was in such disarray and all this other crap that was going on with it. So, okay, how do we make this deal happen? How do we get creative and make a deal happen where others couldn't? We were already in first position, meaning to get the deal done, because we've been down this road. We created such rapport with these people, no like and trust. We understood their whole situation. Now it was just, how do we solve the problem? How do we make the deal happen? So the team came to me and they're like, look, I know we did this deal out in the Hamptons. What do you think about this? I'm like, I don't want to put out $350,000 right now for this house. It's just, I could do so much more with that money. If I can't get a return on the capital for 10 years, if I put that money out, it's not worth it to me. So we discussed it and we agreed, let's go back and see if we can do a true, almost like reverse mortgage, except it's not going to be a reverse. We're going to do similar to a life estate, all the concept of a life estate policy. And instead of us giving them a lump sum up front, we're going to give them a payment each month over 10 years. So we're going to buy the property for $356,000, giving them payments equal each month over the 10 years. If anything happens with the house, if they don't keep up with it after we fix it up, if they start screwing things up, it's going to come out of their proceeds, their money that they're getting each month. So they have to keep up with the property. It's not just a freebie. And so we got them to stay in the property with their cats. They get to keep the house. They get to stay there until the day they pass. And they're getting money each month that they can actually live on to supplement their Social Security money that they're getting, their small retirement accounts that they're getting. So again, a win-win. Win for them, win for us. If you want to do more deals, you have to think outside the box, right? Spoke about the first one, super duper shit Dale Scooper, and now we're talking about till death do us part. Deals will happen creatively if you start thinking differently. You have to think in a different manner, and you have to think, how could I solve the problems? What is it they're looking for? What are all the issues that are standing in my way? And then one by one with these issues, how do I solve it? How do I fix it? How do I work through it? Who's my contact? What person do I know? Is there an attorney? Is there somebody who's done this before? Is there a title company? Is there somebody in my network? You have to start thinking creatively. Don't just think the deal's dead. Now, what I don't want you to do is take deals that are really dead and like work on dead wood. You have to know creative is different than deal's dead. Like if the deal's dead, the deal's dead. But if there's a way to make it happen, you have a ready, willing, and able seller, and you have shit that's in your way, you just need to think differently. If I can't do it with cash, how else can I do it? If I can't buy it today at a discount, what else can I do? Or is there more money? I'm going to talk about this in the third one, which is called Judgment Day. Is there more money in the deal? Am I taking a deal down? And is there other creative ways to make this deal happen where it can pull out another 10 or 15, or in the case that I'm going to talk about on part 3 of Creative as Fuck, how we pulled out another $100,000 out of a deal. We're going to make $140,000 on the rehab, beautiful house, but we made an additional $100,000 on this property by looking and thinking. And this was something I just saw it, and I'm like, holy shit, we have the potential of making like another $50,000 to $100,000 on this property. And I'm going to go through how we did that, what I thought of, how I went through the negotiation process. And I'm going to tell you, it was a win for him, the seller, and it was clearly a win for us. So look, hope you guys are learning something, creative as fuck, 3-part series. If you want to do more deals in this environment, you have to start doing things differently, thinking differently, asking better questions, going deeper with your sellers. And look, every fucking guru out there tells you it's about solving problems, but you really need to start practicing that like on a daily basis. You have to start solving problems. But in order to solve the problems, you need to know everything about the situation. Everything. All the who's, the what's, the where's, the why's in the house. Dig deep into the conversation. Don't sound like an effing robot over the phone, like you're shooting one question out after another. You have to build that rapport, but take copious notes as they're giving you the information. And then you have to just look at the story, look at the information, and then figure out, is there a deal here to be made? And if there is, and you don't know how to do it, again, get creative. Go outside and look, partner up with somebody. Go and grab somebody in your area. Grab somebody online like myself or somebody that does what I do. Connect with them and say, look, I have a deal. I don't know how to make this happen. I think you could. Either you've done it or you can figure it out, and partner with those people. Like squat up, make shit happen. You can't look at this as if you're going to do all the deals on your own. Like I partner with people today. I partner with people when I first started. I'm always going to partner with people because that's the way you make more money. Like good people that have deals could make good deals together, and you're helping people and everybody wins. So going on the tangent, that's it. Look, if you want to learn, you want to partner, you want to invest, go to billyalvaro.com. Check us out. Simple website. We're just here to help give you the tools, the tips, the tricks, the strategies, and the secrets. If you have money you want to invest, look, we did 17 deals last month. We brought in over $450,000 in revenue. We have people, a lot of friends, family, and people in the industry that know us that put their money to work on the fix and flips. You have money you want to start putting into our syndication deals. We're doing apartment deals. And so like if we're friends, you want to start putting your money to work, hit me by all means. I mean, we're making some really good things happen. And I'm not a pig. I'm here to make other people wealthy, myself wealthy, everybody together, and just keep on growing. If you want to learn and you want to partner, hit me the F up, please. We can make deals happen. And if not, hit somebody up. Point is don't let deals that could be done sit on the wayside and just go to waste because you're losing money. So in order to get deals done, think creatively, think outside the box, and go make shit happen. I'm Billy Alvaro. This is the Unstoppable REI Wealth Podcast. I am the Unstoppable BA, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.